What's going on, people? So I got some of these WWE Ultimate Edition figures that I've built up over the last however many years. So I'm not going to be like doing an actual unboxing of those right now. I'm more or less just kind of going through them to see which ones I do have because I got a shelf all put together the other day. So now I'm going to move some stuff out of there, put some stuff over there, and then in the end, I'm going to have room to finally get these things out of the boxes, displayed, and all that good stuff. So I thought, well, let me go through these and see which all ones I have. Because I don't buy them often, right? But because they only come out so often. They're not like the actual Elite figures. But I felt like I had a fair amount, and looking at them, okay, this is a little bit more than I expected, but I needed to know what I was up against so I can get an idea of how I'm going to lay these things out. So I figured, why not share this little walkthrough with the people or whatever. Now, usually I don't get a whole lot of views in the live setting or whatever, but people do like show up later and watch these things. It's kind of weird to me in a way. Either way, so we'll kick things off with this one right here. We're gonna start with the ones in like the somewhat fanciest boxes, and then move on to the ones that are in the standard release boxes. At least because that's how they're laid out over here. So this one, I feel like, didn't I? No, that was the George the Animal Steel that I got not too long ago. So over there you have Jake the Snake. Over here you have Rick Rude. So let's see. And I feel like I did do something of an unboxing. Well, not unboxing, but did show these off at some point. So may as well take these out now because I'm going to need them out later tonight, or maybe I'll do it while I watch Collision or something. It'll give me something to do. So that, like I said, Rick Rude right here. So it's a pretty cool figure. I do have another one of him somewhere, but that's just an Elite edition, so nothing too fancy about that one. And same goes for Jake the Snake. I do have one of him. Actually, I think I have two of him sitting around here somewhere. But I was a big Jake the Snake fan when I was younger just because he had a snake, and I thought that was cool. And then later on in life, once I like watched the guys, oh wow, this guy is actually pretty cool. So there's that. So these came from the Mattel Creations thing. So if you go to the Mattel webpage, you'll see them on there probably still because I don't think they were big sellers, or either they just made a whole lot of them. So if you're still interested in those, I'm thinking you can get them if you want them. Now, another one, George the Animal Steel and Roddy Piper. So these two right here, I don't know what sparked the whole two-pack thing, but they've been bringing up a bunch of these over like a couple months or whatever. So Roddy Piper right here, right? Looks pretty cool, I think. It's got the kills and all that stuff. Exactly what you would expect. And then over here you have George the Animal Steel, right? And I didn't really show it off or anything, but because I can't. But down in the bottom there are the little boxes that have the accessories and stuff. So, and then you have that green tongue and all of the extra hairy upper body. Now it's not actual hair. It doesn't look like it's looking like it's just like a painted on situation going on in there. So I don't know if that's going to focus. Probably not. So let's just keep it moving. But either way, it's a cool presentation that they did for the guy. I mean, the figure is like still a bit ridiculous, at least in my opinion. But that makes sense because the dude himself was a bit ridiculous, right? I mean, he's running around like biting into turnbuckles and with a colored tongue, right? I mean, it was the 80s, 90s, or whatever. That was just what people were doing back then. Had some over-the-top gimmicks and such. So now we have Terry Funk right there, right? So there you have it. He's got his fancy pants on and a big old cowboy hat of some sort going on there. And then you have Hulk Hogan. I often want to say like Hollywood Hogan because like I'm so used to saying that because when I got into wrestling, that's what was going on. Either way, so you have Hulk Hogan going on here, right? So pretty decent. And on the back, I missed that one, but around that same time, they did have that Ultimate Edition Sergeant Slaughter. I want to say it was a San Diego Comic-Con for that year, or San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for that year, but I can't recall for sure. And I don't know how I didn't get it because these things aren't usually like the hardest to get if you're paying attention to like release times and stuff. But somehow or another, I did not end up with it. So I'm gonna have to put that on the list of things to look on eBay for after this, along with I don't know. I need to look and see what all Ultimate Editions came out. Period, because There might be some other ones that I missed out on and would like to have. So, you know, it's one of those things. I'm not a completionist by any means, but if there are ones that I like, then I'll track them down. And then we'll get these two since they're in front. So I ended up with two of these, right? So this is going to be the no holds barred set. This one was supposed to be mailed to somebody at some point. Obviously, that did not happen. And then I basically completely forgot that this was even a thing until today when I opened a box and was like, oh, I remember that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing opened up real quick, see what these are looking like. I don't know that I ever actually did or not, so this could be my first time seeing it. Sit him over here. Keep this thing. Okay, so inside the box, right, it's kind of like the VHS style. And then on the back, you have some pictures of a figure, right? So let's see, slip that open. And I don't do that slowly for effect. It's just slowly because there's a whole suction situation going on. Actually, this is really cool. Yeah, I've definitely never opened this before because I would have certainly remembered this VHS tape design, right? See, look at that. That is pretty fancy, huh? So pull that off. Pull that off the top there. Set this over here. And so that's what you have on the inside, right? You got Zeus and you got Hogan. So, man, that is really cool. Like, this is one of those ones that I might just display just like this because sometimes you get stuff that comes in a nice enough box that you can just put the box out as it is and be done with it. Same with, I think it's the Cody Rhodes that we're going to talk about in just a second here. So let's go ahead and move on to that. So this, right, pretty plain box for the most part. Well, there's that. There's that. Yeah, it's a pretty plain box for the most part, but I was at San Diego Comic-Con the year that they released this figure because like they had like the prototype there and they gave him the first one or something. It was really cool, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I wouldn't mind having that. And I don't remember when it all went on sale or how that whole thing worked out, but I do know that I ended up with it, obviously. So that's the back, right? I mean, I'm honestly surprised that he's as over as he is still right now. But people are really wanting to see some Cody Rhodes right about now. It's crazy, Because, I mean, nothing against the guy, but, I mean, he's won the Royal Rumble and stuff, but he hasn't really done anything else, It's like, I couldn't tell you any other match that he's had. I mean, he had that cell match with, like, the broken shoulder or whatever he had, but I couldn't tell you anything else that he's done, so it's just weird in a way. But either way, so there you go. There's the Cody Rhodes, right? So like I'm saying, I just kind of like this one because this pulls out to kind of be like an entrance ramp, and then you can just have him standing there at the top of it. So it's actually a really nice figure too. So I do like it. But there we go. There's that one right there. Set this back in here for now anyways. Got us some Logan Paul action coming up next. So there's the front of it. The back of it is pretty plain. You're just going to see the standard WWE logo and whatever. What is that, like flames or just yellow? Not sure what they're going for back there, but whatever. And so this one, I mean, this one's also like kind of cool as its display piece, just like that, because it's kind of in his own little thing, but it's open so you can see everything, and that way you don't have to worry about trying to stand them up. So I don't know, like some of these might end up just kind of being out as they are because it just looks cool as it is, So I don't know. That's going to be a decision that I have to make in an hour or two or whatever, whenever I get around to doing that. Because I do like having my stuff out of the boxes. That's just a preference because it's cooler that way. But there is a space situation that needs to be dealt with once in a while, It's kind of one of the drawbacks to buying stuff like this. It's like it's cool to have it and like show it off. Well, not show it off, but display it. But like, where are you going to display it, right? I mean, photos and posters I can just put on the walls, but this stuff it takes some extra effort. So on this side, you have Muhammad Ali, boxer style. On this side, same dude, but he's all dressed up, ready to count to 3 and ask people if they're willing to submit. Referee things. So this is a magnet style box. See that? Yeah, magnet style box. You open it up, you have the little somewhat blurry plasticky stuff going on there because it has the overlays on it. So this one over here, pull that off if I can get that off anyways. So that's what I'm saying. Like you have the Hogan one on that side, and then you have him behind there holding up his hand. And then on the other side, like I said, he knocked somebody down. I forget who that is, but it's written on the back of the box, I believe. And then in there you have him straight up just standing there getting ready to fight, or in the middle of fighting, whatever. So very cool. And this is another one that could be displayed just like this. We'll see, because given that there's two of them, it just kind of makes sense in a way to do it that way. Now, I did pick up one of these for my mom also, because when we were at the Comic-Con thing, same year as the Cody situation, they brought that up and they're like, oh, this is the next thing and it's downstairs. You can go see it right now. We're putting it up on the shelf as we speak because it wasn't there before. And she was like, I need that, Tristan. And I was like, all right, got it. No problem, right? So then I got it, right? Bought two of them, one for me, one for her. So let's get into the last box. This one is going to be the Gobbledygooker and the Undertaker. It was an Amazon exclusive, but I've seen it on Ringside Collectibles also. It was actually highlighted during their last sale, so it must not have done super well or whatever, like as far as like just flying off the shelves. Otherwise, I feel like they probably just wouldn't have any more to sell. So this right here, the Gobbledygooker, right? Remember that from Undertaker's debut? It wasn't related or anything. It just happened to be there on that same night. And then over here on the back side of this, we have the Undertaker there. Does he have the big tie on? He does have, well, he doesn't have the tie on, but he does have the big tie. And so that's going to be this one. I'm a big Undertaker fan, so when I saw this, I kind of had to have it. I could care less about the Gobbledygooker thing, but it makes for a cool set, though. So whatever, I'll go with it. And there should be some extras in there, but that's neither here nor there. So let me clear some space out on this floor. Now I can get into all the actual standard figures that I have over here. So we're kicking things off with The Fiend. So and these aren't in any particular order. They're just however I pulled them out, right? So you'll see some that are together because like they came out together. Then you'll see others that are just randomly sprinkled in. So don't look for any trends or whatever. It's just a bunch of stuff. So there you go. Got the Fiend here with like the fancy mask and stuff. And there is another one of these Fiends in here somewhere because the other Ultimate Fiend comes with a belt and this one doesn't. I don't remember which one came first or second or whatever, but I just know that there are two. I don't know if there's anything different between the actual figure themselves because they did the same thing with those elites that I have up there on the shelf. So I'll keep this one on the side just to be sure. Alexa Bliss, right? So remember that? You have her with like the Fiend style face from when she was all under his spell or whatever. And then the standard style. So that's a better view on the back, right? So you kind of see that's her. And yeah, she was playing that part pretty well. It just kind of made sense or whatever. And then she disappeared. I guess she had a baby or something. So now I guess that's her life now, I guess. I don't know. Maybe she'll come back. Some people do. Becky Lynch came back, right? What's her name? Mickie James came back. But some people just don't. Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, I don't really remember having this figure. I remember wanting it and missing it because I remember seeing it at Target all the time and not buying it for some reason. Then I heard how good it was, and I must have just hunted it down on eBay or something. I don't even know. But I have it now, somehow. It seems pretty cool, though. Like, I do like the guy, so I'm looking forward to breaking this one out. So there's some pictures on the back of him and all that. Looks like he's ready for business or whatever. So yeah, this is actually from, without opening it up yet, it does look actually pretty cool. So that's all right. And Becky Lynch, I was actually just talking about her. So I remember this figure vaguely because I remember the two belts and stuff. And I have like that Becky two belts shirt from whenever that was relevant. She's got like the black and yellow thing going on. So pretty decent figure though. I would say that this is probably one of the better things, but when it comes to the Ultimate Editions, I mean, you're generally going to get something that's better anyways, because whether it's like throwing in the extras or just the detail that go into them. And actually, I was about to say you'll see that with the Bianca Belair, but that Bianca Belair was for my mom, so I don't have that. I need to get my own at some point, but I kind of just haven't. And here we go, Hollywood Hogan, right? I think this one is being redone. So I don't know if it's in stock now or shipping soon or whatever the situation is, but I have seen that the newer one is supposed to be more tan than this one. Because Hogan, in his later years, he looked like he had just been stuck outside for years. You know what I'm saying? His skin did not look great. But anyway, so there's that. That's what Hogan's looking like. He's got the boa and all that stuff. Got the NWO title in there. You kind of see that just a little bit. So this is a pretty cool one. I do like it. I saw this one when I saw that they were re-releasing and doing like their greatest hits of the Ultimate Edition series, which is basically bringing them back. And I think they changed the articulation a little bit. But when I saw that, I was like, I really want that figure, but maybe I have that figure because I could see how I might have that, and it feels like I have that. But when you collect a lot of stuff, sometimes it gets very blurry as to like what you do have and what you don't. Moving along, we have this right here, Macho Man Randy Savage. I don't know if this is a special one or anything like that. It feels like it isn't because it doesn't say like fan takeover or anything like that. So it must have been just like a standard Elite or Ultimate Edition series, whatever. The Elites have a number on the side of the box that says what series they're from. And I know these are up to like 20 something, but I don't think they actually label them like that. So either way, I do like Macho Man, so this is pretty cool to have. And somewhere else in here, you will see another Macho Man where he's more like the black and white, kind of like the Hogan. Speaking of black and white, we have Brock Lesnar here. I don't know what's going on with him right about now as far as his status with things, but I heard he was taken off the cover of the newest game and lost his spot in the Royal Rumble, and I hear things haven't been going his way, right? So either way, this is what's going on here. Suplex City, Brock Lesnar's got the red title, whatever that one was, I think the Universal title. So I can't say why I bought this. I honestly don't know. I've never been like a huge Brock Lesnar fan, but I did like some of his elites, like the one where he had like the what do you call them, the overalls on. I bought both of those, like the Chase and the Standard. And they have this other one coming up where he's like got like a denim vest on or something. I haven't ordered that one yet because I'm kind of wondering if they'll actually make it or not, because sometimes they don't if things get a little weird. So I do want that one though. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And for now, it's all just people saying things or whatever. Who knows? Sometimes things just completely blow over and it's like it never happened. Sometimes it turns into like the next big thing and then it's like the end of the world for somebody. So we'll see what happens for them. And this right here is that Macho Man that I was talking about moments ago. Because like I said, this is going to be the Madness one, so kind of the NWO era, which is why I have all the black and the white. So I guess this would also be the one associated with when he made that super terrible album. Remember that? It had that Be a Man song that was about Hulk Hogan, and it's like My Perfect Friend, the song about Mr. Perfect. Yeah, it was. Listen to it. It's on Spotify, I'm pretty sure. He's like holding up a chain. It's probably the only album that comes up under Macho Man outside of like, the Village People. But yeah, it's terrible. Listen to it anyway. It'll ruin your day. So this right here, like I said, I'm a big fan of the Macho Man, so I wanted to have this. I feel like this was something I got from Target. It might have been a Target exclusive, this one right here. I honestly don't remember because when it comes to the Ultimates, it's kind of all over the place. There's some that were like Walmart online exclusive. You'll see that in a little bit. There were some that were fan takeovers that like thing you had to get from Amazon or something. There were some that were just in all the stores. There's this was a Chase, right? See how he's got like the yellow stuff on the actual box, but in the box he's wearing purple. Yeah, this was a Chase one. I found this at the local Target of all places, which was crazy because I was not expecting that. But the local Target has actually done pretty well for me when it comes to Chases. So maybe it's not so weird. But either way, I do like it. You'll see the yellow one in a second. I'll hold this one off on the side so that way I can do a little comparison. Because I'm not really sure which one I prefer. I mean, I like yellow as a color better, but we'll see how it looks on the figure. And I think this was one of those ones where they brought him back, like one of those re-releases. Actually, no, it says Fan Takeover. So I guess there was another one for that. But yeah, this is a Fan Takeover one, so I'm guessing this would have come from Amazon. It's got all the fancy pants and the jacket or the vest or whatever, all the hearts and stuff on it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a lot of these out of the box finally, because it's been so long. So long. They've all just been hanging out here doing nothing. I'm kind of feeling like a waste of money, honestly. So now I can get these out there, and it's not like I play with them or anything. I just sit them on the shelf, and then like that's the end of it. It's like, all right, there's that. And then I just like stand there and like look at them every now and then while I'm like eating dinner or something. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's a good Mr. T. That's the life. All right, so here we go. Speaking of Mr. T, right? So there you go. There's that. Got the gold chains and all that stuff in there. The angry face and all that. The Hulk Hogan hat, right? The Hulk Hogan colors. This is from WrestleMania something or other. And then there you go. There's that up top. You have the figure thing. Down at the bottom, you have real life. So, and then there's a picture on the side. So it's kind of weird in a way. I didn't really think about this before, but they give you this picture on the side of him with all the camouflage stuff on. I don't think they actually made a camouflage figure, though. I know they made what was that thing called? The little ones that are kind of like He-Man figures, but I don't know what he's wearing on that. Maybe that's camouflage. Is that somewhere? I just saw it like a little while ago. It's somewhere over there. So anyways, moving along. We have another Hogan. What is this? I feel like I just saw something like this, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just when I was taking the pictures. Either way, so this is another Hogan figure, right? So there you go. There's that. Now I remember. I was talking about it was the Ultimate Edition from the box with Terry Funk. That's what I was thinking of. So this is like the Hulkamania style, right? So like from the older era when he was talking about taking your prayers or taking your vitamins and saying your prayers, whatever. So pretty cool figure. It's not bad anyways. It's got the World Heavyweight Championship, WWE, right? So it's kind of an older look for that particular belt, but it's a nice one to have for, if you're into Hogan figures. And apparently his hand is a little bit loose down in there, so it must have come out of its little plastic prison. Not a bad figure, like I said, and that's the one that goes along with the Mr. T, which is why those happen to be next to each other. And so now we have an Ultimate Warrior figure. It's also one of the Fan Takeover editions, as you see on the back there. So it comes with a yellow belt and a black belt, right? So I'm not sure what the deal is with that, what was going on there. So one is going to be the World Championship and the other the Intercontinental. So I guess he was a double champ at some point, the old champ, as they call it. So there's that. Looks pretty cool, though. I do like the colors of it. I was buying a couple of these Ultimate Warrior figures for a while because a lot of them do look pretty cool, even though I was never really like an actual fan of the guy. But then they just started making so many, and I was like, okay, we're stopping this right now. And this. So I don't remember buying this, right? Actually, wait, no, that's the other one. Because there was another Jeff Hardy Ultimate Edition figure, and I was like, I'm not buying that. Like, it's fine, but I'm not even a big fan of the guy like that. I don't need a Jeff Hardy figure. And then I saw this one today, and I'm like, when did that happen? But seeing the Fan Takeover thing on the back, I vaguely remember this from like Amazon, however long ago. One of those things you put in an order, and then like you get it like 8 months later or something. So yeah, if you had asked me, do you have any Jeff Hardy figures? I would have firmly said no with all the confidence in the world. And then I would have proved myself wrong by pulling this thing out. So it's kind of cool. I mean, I like the little paint job on his face. Almost looks like a pair of Yeezy foam runners that I picked up not too long ago. So, I mean, that's not really a compliment in a lot of ways, but because those things look like garbage, but it's a cool color. I also wouldn't have guessed that I had any Triple H figures. I don't know what the deal was. probably just bought it because, it's fan takeover, it's mildly limited. Like, let me get that. Sometimes that gets the best of you when you're collecting things and not thinking it through. But I have this, and maybe I was just holding out and seeing if they'd release like an Ultimate Edition Shawn Michaels with like the DX stuff. I don't know, but I bought it for whatever reason. Here it is. It's not a bad figure or anything. I don't have any actual complaints about it. I mean, the beard situation is just like weird to me because it just, I don't know, that whole one piece beard thing. It's just odd. It's just odd. It's not even a beard because there's no hair down here. It's just all, I don't know. What do you even call that? This one right here is the one that I was mentioning before, where I was saying like they brought something back from an older era. This was one of the first Ultimate Editions. They did it again in the Greatest Hits line or whatever. So I don't know if there's anything on the box that really shows that. There's probably a date somewhere, perhaps. No, not really, because it just says 2019 even on the bottom. So either way, this is Shawn Michaels Ultimate Edition, right? As you see on the back there, it's kind of one of those iconic looks. What's it from exactly? I don't even know. Like, I don't have a clue what that's from. I just know I've seen it a lot. And this was a Target exclusive for sure. It was a Batista figure, which was kind of weird because at the time, this was only like a year or two ago, he wasn't even there, So you got this Batista figure. I think there's another one of these somewhere in here because it was one of those ones that at first was like hard to find, and I was like, okay, well, I'll see if one of my friends or something needs it, And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was just in all the stores, and then it was like flooding all the stores. I'm like, oh well, that just blew up out of nowhere. Here's another Ultimate Warrior figure. I don't remember what the difference is on any of these, but this one, it does have Greatest Hits on the back. So there you go. There's that. So I don't know. They didn't have that on the Shawn Michaels one. So maybe they were doing those differently then or something. I don't really know, but I know I didn't buy it that long ago. So either way, here's this. Here's the Ultimate Warrior. Looking at it now, like, I mean, I don't know why I bought it. Maybe I thought the jacket thing was cool, but I'm looking at it now and mildly underwhelmed. I do kind of like the battle damage on the face paint that he has going on over here. So that's something. But otherwise, I don't know, the other one that I showed a little while ago is clearly better. And I've got this from Ringside Collectibles. I don't know why there's this big old sticker on the front of it. I don't know what the deal is with that. So I need to get that off. But it is the earlier John Cena figure. I wasn't sure if I really needed this one because I have another one. But I was looking at the differences between the two, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it because I kind of want it, and I can have it, so I'm going to have it. Sometimes it's just that simple, people. I mean, when you're an adult and can do whatever for the most part, you just kind of do whatever for the most part. And here's another Brock Lesnar figure. This one comes with 2 belts. Now I have Brock Lesnar with all 3 belts, I guess, right? Because the other one had the red one. This one has a blue one and a black one. So there's that. Same guy as before, right? I don't know if there's anything that's really even different about it. And I don't see where that figure was. There it is. Let's see here real quick. See if there is anything that stands out as being different. Because show them to you real quick there. So these two, right? I mean, one has a shirt, one doesn't. They probably have different haircuts, Right. Actually, they are very similar, all in all. This one just has some dumb faces on them, though. I mean, they both have a screaming face, but this other one is just like the one in the middle there. It just looks kind of stupid. So yeah, just off the top right now, without thinking it over, I'm gonna say that I like this one more. Right? If I look at these for longer, maybe I'll notice things that I didn't notice before, but whatever. Oh, look at that. Another Ultimate Warrior guy. So this one seems to have a lot of stuff going on in here. So that's cool. And it has better colors. And it has Macho Man on the knee pad, right? So yeah, this one's pretty nice. I do like this one a lot. So I can see why I would have bought this. And it has the Ultimate Edition logo on the back. So I don't know when they started putting those on there. Maybe once they started doing the Greatest Hits thing. Unless it's just something that I just hadn't really noticed before. Yeah, probably just looks like I just never noticed it before. Now we have this, the AJ Styles figure. I thought this was super cool, the way they did the hair all blowing in the wind, you know? It's got the blue and all that stuff. And this was actually my first ever AJ Styles figure, which is kind of weird because I'm a fan of the guy. I have a bunch of his shirts, but only have one of his figures. So that's what's going on there, right? And that's from, I feel like I was at that WrestleMania. That sign looks very familiar. So I can't think of what it might, maybe the Dallas one possibly. But either, yeah, I mean, it looks like it would be Dallas. It's got that star and, it's blue. So, but either way, so this one right here, I saw it in stores at some point and I was like, oh, well, that'll save me the hassle of ordering it because I don't mind buying from Ringside Collectibles. I am a huge fan of what they're doing. But the thing is, when something is new, the prices can be a little high because they're trying to, I guess, throttle how many people buy them to kind of control the stock. And then as things are out longer and start to actually hit all the retailers, then the prices start to come down to more on like the actual retail market value or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to find it in stores. I always find these in stores. And boy, did I. Because I found this one also, right? So let's go ahead and bring this guy back over here. So this one right here, the purple one is the Chase. This one right here, the yellow one is the standard. You can tell because he's wearing a yellow thing on the box, right? So that means it's not special to not be doing what he's doing on the box. So anyways, here's this. Pretty decent. Overall, I'm kind of leaning towards liking the yellow one a little bit more, honestly. But the purple is cool. It just doesn't really pop out so much. Maybe it's just because of the way, like, it's kind of a darker color, and, he's got like a lot of dark colors, like the hair and the chest hair and all that stuff. But you can't go wrong with either one. I'd be fine with either one. But I honestly think that if I had to only choose one, I'd probably take the standard over the Chase. It's just what it is, right? And here's another one because of some reason that made sense at the time. Probably just because I found it in the store and was going to see, like, oh, let me see if anybody needs it. And then it just got lost in this pile of misfit toys or whatever. And this is the Bret Hart. Now, this was definitely one of the greatest hits ones because they brought it out. I saw it in Target for months and I did not buy it. Why didn't I buy it? I don't know. I asked myself that so many times later. But I saw it was coming back and I'm like, okay, I'm pre-ordering this. I'm just going to be done with it. Then it showed up and I was like, yay, cool. And then I put it in the box, never to be seen again until right now. But yeah, it's a Bret Hart figure. A lot of people always talk about the Bret Hart figures and how the face sculpts are kind of bad. And this one, it's not good. Now that I look at it, it doesn't really look like him, I mean, I don't know what they're doing there sometimes. I've seen some that look pretty decent, but whatever. I have it and I'm cool with that. And then there is also this one, which was some kind of exclusive. I think it's close to the same thing, but just, it's got a pink jacket for one, but I think this was in Targets only. And this one was basically wherever. So yeah, they're both Bret Harts and stuff. The head sculpt on, I don't know, this one looks a little bit better. It looks like the head that he has on does. The one that is in the upper corner here, it's not bad, but I don't know. So either way, this one got this Bret Hart as well. Overall, as a figure, I would prefer like the black one just because it just, I don't know, somebody like all the pink just looks a little weird, Let's see. Let's keep this thing going. I only have like 2 more stacks of these things left. So in case you're wondering, we should be done pretty soon, hopefully. Got an Edge figure. He goes by Adam Copeland nowadays because he's all grown up and fighting for AEW and whatnot, which I guess he'll be on TV in about 2.5 hours, if I'm doing the math right. So there's that. This might have been my first Edge figure, possibly second. It's close because there was a fan takeover Elite that came out where he's like dressed in his clothes from the WrestleMania match with Mankind, the camo pants and all that same stuff he wore on the last AEW pay-per-view. So either way, there's this right here, right? Edge, pretty cool figure. I like the maroon and stuff. And he's got like the big cloak on the side, which kind of puts him in like makes you think like the Judgment Day type of stuff and all that, right? So it's kind of hard in a way to believe that like he was a part of that because it seems so different now than when he was around with it. And another one of these, I mentioned that before, so I'm gonna move on from old Batista. This was a fan takeover from Walmart. Oh, excuse me, Ruthless Aggression. This was straight from Walmart, right? It was the Walmart exclusive. It went on sale on whatever day at whatever time. I put in my order. That was months ago. I have not seen anything about that shipping anytime soon. I found this one in a store, right? At this point, I just still have the order open just because I'm wondering, will it ever actually ship? I'm thinking no. I'm very firmly thinking no. Now this Seth Rollins, I saw this one day. So a friend of mine from work, we had like went to Target to for whatever reason, and I turned down the action figure aisle and I saw some stuff, so I'm like getting the boxes down off the shelf, and I'm stacking them up on the side, and he thought that I was just kind of like moving some stuff to see like what was behind other boxes. What was really happening was I was stacking up all the boxes that I was about to buy. It was like a full set of Legends, so that's like what, four, and then two of these because this and then the Andre. So like there's like these six boxes, and like he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you're buying all of those?" I'm like, "Yeah, you don't not buy these." Blew his mind. He thought I was just looking. Oh no, I take the action figure thing quite seriously sometimes. So Seth Rollins, Seth freaking Rollins, if you want to use his whole name, right? There you go. There's that, right? Check that out in Davenport, Iowa. You know who else is from Davenport, Iowa? This guy right here. So, anyways, I'm a big fan of Seth Rollins, not just because of the whole Iowa thing, but because he's pretty all right. And so now, moving along over here, talking about Andre the Giant. I saw this figure, like I said in that story I just mentioned. I would not have bought this, like, ordering it wise, like if I had to go out of my way for it. But since it was right there, I was like, oh, well, sure, why not? Because it just doesn't really stand out to me as something I need. But it's kind of cool in a way. It's got the extra long belt, so you can actually like wrap it around them. You can kind of tell that it's longer than your standard belt, right? But otherwise, it's just, I don't know. I missed the whole Andre the Giant era, so it doesn't really do anything for me. And then down on the bottom, like people thought his hands were messed up, like that they didn't print them right or something. But that's actually how his hands were in real life. So that's why the hands look a little awkward. Somebody was saying that. I don't remember where I saw it, but I did. And another one of those Ruthless Aggression Walmart RVDs that I found in a store. Again, one day, maybe they'll send me the one that I actually ordered. I don't know about all that, honestly. And this right here is another Brock Lesnar. So the others are buried deep under somewhere, so I'm not going to be pulling those back out. But I feel like this is something I could have done without. Looking at the way these are now, this one just looks so plain. It's like before the tattoo and all that stuff. He's just like young little baby Brock, before he was out there suplex city and people around and all that. So, I don't know. I saw it, and because it was limited-ish, I was like, oh, well, why not? That'd be cool to have, right? Sometimes it's nice to have something that isn't so readily available. Case in point, this right here, this Rey Mysterio, right? I could have done without it in some ways because I'm not a huge Mysterio guy anymore. I was big on him when he was in WCW, but later on I just kind of like wasn't so into it because it wasn't as visually exciting anymore. There weren't so many flips and stuff. But nothing against the guy. So anyway, I saw this and I was like, oh, that's something. It kind of reminds me of the Ultimate Edition or the Supreme Lucha Bros figures because they had like the big bird thing going on. But I bought this because if I find the Eddie Guerrero, I want to be able to have both of that set. So now, much like something else I said I was going to have to look up and see about, I'm going to have to go and get on eBay and find the Eddie Guerrero figure because I can't just have the one, right? You got to have the both of them. Or otherwise, like, what are you even doing, All right, so let's see here. Got 8 more altogether. We're getting through it. This right here is not the most recent set, but I think it's the most recent set to hit stores. So this is Kurt Angle. It did also come with the Bobby Lashley and the Bianca Belair in that wave, but I did get those. They're just my mom and dad's, right? So because I bought Bobby for my dad and Bianca for my mom because like they're both fans of those two people, Found that out at WrestleMania 2 years ago. Whenever the last Dallas one was, because we were there for that. So anyways, I did keep the Kurt Angle for myself, but I do plan to get those other two at some point, just whenever it gets around to it. So this one's pretty cool. Like he's got this soft goods, like what do you call it, singlet going on there. Got the belt, some extra hands, extra heads. So neither of these are bald though, which is kind of weird, but maybe that'll come along later. So it looks like a really good figure though. So Kurt Angle, there you go. That's my. I don't have a lot of his stuff anyway. I have a whole lot of Hogan figures apparently because I've gone through like 5 of them just sitting here. So this one is another Hulkamania era figure. It's just that instead of being mostly red with a little bit of yellow, this is mostly yellow with a little bit of red. So that's kind of what's going on there. So I feel like they're kind of swindling me out of money. And he has a black eye on this head right here, which I don't remember what the deal was, but I think it was like WrestleMania 9 or something when he came out and he had a black eye. Somebody can correct me on that if they would like to, but I feel like that's something that I heard about happening at some point. So either way, there's that, another Hogan, because why not? Okay, here we go. Now here's that other Fiend I was talking about. See that? It comes with a belt down there at the bottom, which if you recall, that belt was like $6,000 when they released it on the WWE shop years ago. So Fiends, right? So there you go. They're in the camera. They're looking very much the same. Got the extra arms seem to be there. The jackets, yeah, that seems to be a difference as well. Actually, no, those are the same jackets. So I guess it's just like what he's wearing under there, because this one he's just got like the standard tank top style thing, and this one's got like almost a straight jacket sort of look. But otherwise, it's very much looking the same. Even like the hands that you see over here, they're in this box as well. It's just that they're attached to the actual arm. So nothing there. And then when you look at the face, yeah, I mean, the faces are slightly different, right? I mean, you have this one, they can kind of tell the hair and like the smile, right? This one, like the hair is a little different. Smile isn't so deadly looking, So it's one of those things where you kind of have to really look at it, but to see all the differences. But the biggest one being the belt down there, right? So if you wanted the belt, this was the one you wanted. And I think this was not the Alexa Bliss one. I don't remember for sure which was which, but I think that's right. And I say that with like maybe 50% confidence. And now on to the last set, right? So we have this right here. This is going to be Kane. And earlier on, when they first released these, see how he's got like one arm that's painted red because of how his suit is? Apparently, like, the whole arm isn't painted, right? So if you bend it at the elbow like it bends normally, when you bend it, you'll see like white, right? Because they didn't paint it. So they as in Mattel, gave people refunds or whatever if you could send in like your receipts and stuff. So they sent me like $30 so I could go buy a new figure, and I was going to. And then I was waiting on it to go on sale. It went on sale, and I completely forgot. So now I need to go and find it. And last I looked, it was not on the sale prices anymore. So that's kind of unfortunate. But I'll get it at some point, because now that I'm about to open this, that could be a problem. When it was in this box, what's it matter, right? And this came out at the same time as the Undertaker did, right? So there's that, right? You got Undertaker doing his normal thing. I believe they just brought this one back with the Oscar set. I do like the little head he's got going on down there, right? So he's got like the devil head or whatever you want to call it, right? Eyes rolled back in his head. Got some extra hands down there that I honestly did not notice until right now. And then another head there, and then the jacket. So it's kind of like that Ministry of Darkness era, I guess. I guess that's what they were going with maybe here. But this is really good. But they did do a re-release, which is kind of weird because I feel like they just now got rid of these. After discount after discount after discount, they finally got them off the shelves. John Cena right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see that. And so this is, like I was saying before, I was looking at this one and the other one and trying to decide, do I want the other one more than this one? Because I got this one first. I was like, oh, maybe I made a mistake. Yeah, I don't know. I'd still say it's a toss-up kind of, sort of, but I liked the other one enough that I waited out a decent price on it and ended up with it. But here you go. This is going to be John Cena's. spinner belt, right? Standard stuff. Nothing too crazy about it. I mean, I'm sure if they make one nowadays, it'll be in like all the bright colors, say something like hustle, loyalty, respect, and maybe have a little towel and it'll be like in neon green with bright purple letters or something that doesn't really go together, but it makes sense because it's John Cena. And then we have this one right here. This is going to be Ric Flair. I'm not even a Ric Flair fan. Like, I've got nothing against the guy, but because I wasn't paying attention when he was like becoming whatever, I just wasn't getting into it. So, but I did see this later. I was like, okay, well, this could be something worth having, since he's probably about done with the whole wrestling thing. I don't know how many more figures he's going to have. So let's go ahead and do it. It's even got like the fancy old WCW title in there, right? So I thought that this would be a decent one to have. And thinking about it now, I might go back and get that Charlotte figure because, I have him, but she's in that same boat, right? Like, I don't care about Charlotte. She's kind of boring to me. Her matches are fine. They're entertaining, but she herself is just kind of like, I don't need this. And then we have this one right here. This is what we're ending off with, right? Yeah, that's everything. So yeah, we have this one right here. This is going to be a Stone Cold Steve Austin. So it's got the fingers down there, right? They got the one finger up, but it's the wrong finger. So that's unfortunate. See that? A little index, not the middle. So one off, but sometimes that's all it takes to mess something up. Otherwise, it's going to be a standard stuff, right? It's got some shirts down there. It looks like a vest as well. It's got the hat. And so it's pretty cool, I was actually, like I just said, if you put two and two together, whatever, I did get to see his last wrestling match, which was not exactly a wrestling match, but it was at WrestleMania in Dallas a couple years ago. So that was a cool little moment. Didn't know it was going to turn into all that, and then it did. And I was like, oh, this really upped the value of this whole weekend. So cool. All right. There's that. So now I was seeing comments pop up, but I was kind of on a roll, and I was like, I'm just going to ignore these for now. Don't take it personally. I ignored all of you, so it's not like it was favoritism, right? Brooklyn Foam says something about some fire pictures, and then he says, did you get the Razor, Ramon, and Shawn Michaels? I did. And then William says, hey, I thought I was stopping in to watch for a while since I've been busy lately and have had no time to watch your streams. Hey, man, I don't watch these things either, so don't even worry about it. Homegrown Kick says, does he come with age-appropriate weight and hair loss? I don't know who he's talking about right now, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to lean towards yes. Brooklyn Foams then says 316. I got 532 over here. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Homegrown Kick says, my girlfriend's mom went out with Mr. Austin. Okay. Well, that's something, I guess. I don't have anything for that, so good for him, good for her, good for your girlfriend too, and maybe even for you. Good for all four of you. So there's that. Now I've addressed all the people. So here's the thing. I've covered everything I needed to cover. I do need to do a video after this one. As soon as every time I do this, I end up with this wall of stuff around me, So once I get this all cleared out, I'll probably record one more thing, maybe possibly do some editing, probably not. I want to just at least get the stuff recorded, and then I'll edit usually through the week. Because again, I gotta do some unboxings of these figures later, and that becomes time consuming. Because then I gotta write the labels on little bags, put all the stuff where it's supposed to go. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But either way, so what does that floor look like? Well, I feel like I just described it. So I don't know. Maybe you were saying that as I was saying what I was saying. But either way, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I am done with this, so I'm going to get all that situated so I can move on, record something else, and then hopefully, maybe, if things all go right, get some videos up there in the coming days, right? Actual full-length videos, not that 60-second nonsense that I've been doing mostly. But at the same time, I haven't had a lot of stuff to talk about, so there is that. But there is a whole podcast type of playlist thing, so they do have podcast playlists now. So if you want to hear me talk about stuff, there's that. For those, if you watch those, there's not a lot to see, so you can just have it on in the background and know that you're not going to miss anything. Usually my videos are very picture heavy. Those are not. So there we go. That's it. I don't see anything else in the comments, which is fantastic because that means I can click this little end button and move on. 49 minutes. Sweet Jesus. So, yeah, that's enough out of me. Thanks for stopping in. I super appreciate it. I so totally do. I say it all the time, and I mean it every time. But for now, once again, later, people.